Now Adnan makes a cut, gets looked off, gets looked off, gets looked off, looked off.
It's the Lookoff, Cleveland's #1 ultimate podcast for all your Cleveland Ultimate news. I am Brad, joined as always by, well, almost always, by Libby Lehman
Hey, y'all.
and Joseph Marmerstein.
I'm back.
We're all back.
We're all back.
We all made it back.
Glad to be
Brad
here.
is also back.
Yeah,
We had an impersonator on last week, but
yeah,
We
things.
were all a little bit depressed last week, wanted to pretend like the Winter League wasn't real.
And now some of us are a lot depressed, but that's cool. Other people got their first win.
I think, did every team except mine get their first win?
No, Joe, they did not.
Oh, did you guys not win the first game? Your team?
Oh, no. Didn't you hear?
Oh shit. Sorry, Brad. That was an honest mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. That game.
All right, well, Brad and I are in it together then.
The game's got a whole bunch of mistakes. Okay.
Watch the film.
I didn't come up with anything clever, so this past week, State beat it. Mr. Rogers shuts down Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Hamon.
teams are bad
Hamon.
too. It's pretty hard to work with.
Spicy ham is it? Hamon Picante is, I think, the best name.
I think so too.
Yeah, if only the team lived up to the name. Cool team beat Mixtape. Ugh, God, this is just making me sad again. And AARP cured the plague.
I think what we should do is just go back to past years that have good team names and just talk about those games.
I wouldn't mind talking about any year other than this year, even though I wasn't there. I wasn't there on Friday, and so I didn't see any of the games in person. I didn't play, and I haven't watched them. So I'm going to leave this mostly up to you two. First game, State, Chelsey, beat it. God, that name is so beat it.
Lynch. Let's just say Lynch.
Yeah, Lynch. Beat Lynch. Libby, you played in this game.
I did, indeed. So we were able to execute on the game plan that we were not as successful with in week 1. Really trying to isolate our women upfield. I think that Lynch going in kind of expected that, but they really weren't able to provide some of the downfield help that I think that they had hoped they would be able to do. The overall Lynch's team is fast for sure. We were running a lot. I think both teams were had put sort of their top women on their O points, and really were just trying to score on offense and hoping to squeeze out some breaks on defense. So yeah, it was a fun game. I felt like as badly as I felt about my team in week 1, I felt that good about us after week 2. And just a lot of things I think were able to kind of come together. Our men were able to kind of throw together a poach defense that was really, really effective. And so I think big props to them for kind of figuring that out and playing that. I didn't really even notice they were doing it until probably midway through the game. And so I think, both Dunbar and Gergat sort of on the top end of the roster did a really good job with communicating and sort of directing traffic to make that really effective and kind of shut down some of the talent from Lynch.
Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. A lot of Chelsey and Libby connections. I think, like Libby said, kind of what people expected to see out of that team. I thought Bees had a great game.
Bees was great. We did not have him in week 1, and I'm glad he's on our team.
Yeah, I mean, he really he did, I think, a good job with the Lynch matchup, and was able to get open consistently. Although there was one pretty funny moment late in the game where State had a chance for a break that would basically seal the game. I think you were up like 2, there was like 7 or 8 minutes left. And you got the turn right on the end zone line, and for some reason called an ISO for Bees, who was being guarded by Lynch, who then shut him down on the ISO, and then I think got the D, and then they scored. And it was obviously ended up working out okay, but that would have been a funny moment, I think, had Lynch's team completed another improbable comeback. But yeah, it was a good game. It was good to see Lynch get knocked down, and
Something we could all rally behind.
yeah. He did mention that his team wanted to give a lot more help, like you mentioned, on deep cuts, and couldn't really provide that help. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to execute a little bit better on their game plan moving forward.
Yeah, he pulled a Kyrie Irving and basically named 4 players on his team that didn't execute. I'm not saying names. I'm not naming names, but
I'm no Kyrie.
Yeah, Lynch was naming names of people that lost that game for him, if in his words, quote unquote. Any other thoughts about this one?
Nope.
Yeah, okay, both of my co-hosts nodding their heads, shaking their heads no. Game two was Mr. Rogers versus Jamon Picante. Mr. Rogers won 16-13. I heard that this game was the epitome, the epitome, if you will, of a game of runs. Who wants to talk about it? Joe?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this game was so weird. I think Mr. Rogers' neighborhood was up 13-2, which is an absolutely insane scoreline. And in that run, I mean, I feel like there was a few times where Jamon Picante and in particular Felipe were taking just really ill-advised looks, like hucks to double coverage, like hammers to people who weren't open and weren't cutting for it. And that game, towards the end of that game, I was starting to warm up for my game, which was immediately following. So I wasn't really paying attention that closely until I looked up and noticed that they were within like 3 points. And that's also kind of how I felt when I was watching the film, where like the run in the first half that Mr. Rogers went on felt like they were in complete control of the game because they were scoring every point. And somehow the run in the second half that Felipe's team went on didn't quite feel that way to me. Like it just kind of really snuck up on you. And
it seemed like there should have been there was an extra 12 minutes that were just missing from the middle of the game, where all of a sudden, it was a totally different game.
Yeah. But it ended up being a pretty close game, which I think, if you just look at the scoreline, not too different from what we might expect, especially with, Brad and Griffin missing from Felipe's team. And I don't really think Abby Guy was missing Abby and one of
Evan.
Yeah, and Evan.
Who did Felipe pick up? He was missing me, Griff, Milo, and Hooks. So I'm assuming there were.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that.
Yeah, I do remember, because I know whenever we were doing the pick, I think both teams were definitely looked very different due to layout.
Ethan. Felipe picked up Ethan. Which I know because Ethan picked up for my team immediately after. So thanks, Ethan, for double dipping.
I know
our team.
Abby had picked up Sadie, and she did really, really well.
Yeah, she did totally well.
Was able to just cover a ton of ground, and I think really run Felipe's women sort of all over the place. So I think that was a big factor.
Cool.
Speaking of cool,
any greater thoughts about that? Or oh yeah, speaking of cool, I really fucked that transition. And, speaking of cool, Abby's cool, awesome team beat Seattle Mixed 16-11. How did this one go? Oh, Joe, yeah, you were there. Joe, how did it go?
it was a tough game. I will say that I'm really looking forward to the day when I can eventually play without feeling like death. It's only been 2 weeks, but with like the long off season as well, it it's one of those things where it just feels like I have never played a game healthy in my life. So hopefully I can soon be back to feeling good and uh, able to run around the way I want to. But um, it was a frustrating game for us just because we really couldn't get anything going, especially on defense. We got no breaks in the whole game. Um, and offensively, I think we were able to figure out a few things that worked well for us. But as the game went on, and the other team sort of started locking in on a couple things that we were trying to do that definitely made it harder. And then the fact that we couldn't really force turns made it so that when we didn't score on that first try, we were just getting broken. Uh, and so yeah, it was just kind of frustrating. But we definitely, I think, despite the score not being as close, I think we played better than we did in week one. We were able to, I think, integrate our whole team better than we did in week one. Anna Barron played a great week for us. And so, we'll have some people back this week and missing Kunal, who threw one terrible huck. So hopefully this week will be better.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that watching the game, it really felt like that you guys just really couldn't put defensive pressure on
Anybody.
Gray, on anybody. I think a big thing that Gray was really just kind of chiseling it up the fourth side. So there was a lot of strikes, a lot of kind of tight window throws that the receiver was just pretty open onto the fourth side. I know that there was a lot of both backhand and forehand forces trying to, I think, find something that worked with that, but it didn't.
Yeah, I know we did sort of try to go in with a game plan of taking away hucks, which, they didn't really huck a lot, but like you're saying, they were just kind of able to chisel up the field, and, maybe we needed to make that adjustment sooner to actually try to pressure on unders more. But yeah, we definitely felt like we couldn't really get enough pressure consistently anywhere on the field defensively.
All right. Anything else on this game?
Nope.
Cool. And the fourth and final game, AARP, on paper at least, gave it the old-fashioned beat down to the Black Plague, 122-10. What worked well for, I don't know the team colors. What worked well for Eric's team?
Everything.
Everything. Yeah.
I think that, yeah, I mean that team is good for sure. They switched to, playing them in week one, they did a lot of a poach defense. Switched to a tighter person, and they're able to do both, I think, very effectively. I think that Black got a little bit crippled by not having their downfield receivers be as effective. I think they were still trying to put up a lot of stuff to Potts and Burns and Maddie in the end zone, or at least for deeper shots. And having good players matching up and contesting a lot of those throws, they couldn't figure out something else that worked. I think they really need to kind of settle back and try to move the disc a little bit more among their handler set, and get the disc into like Matt's hands, who can, I think, try to get a little bit more untraditional throws upfield that are going to be harder for them, for their opposing team to defend.
Yeah, I think ARP really showed their depth again in that game. They had a few of the new faces, Leisha, Mike, O'Brien, who played super well, that, are like sort of were near the bottom of the draft, that again really showed how strong they could be, both getting, playing good defense and then also picking up a few goals. I think they're going to consistently be one of the teams that are more well prepared in terms of game plan, and they also have a team full of people that can execute on that stuff pretty well. And so I think that was definitely a big factor for playing a sort of FUPA team that maybe is not going to have as much experience or as much discipline doing that kind of thing. Yeah, and I think like you said, Black Plague kind of hurt themselves a little bit. I think with where they were positioning people, they had Mass starting downfield a lot, which I like if he can like be getting that first cut consistently, but seemed like basically he wasn't getting as many touches as maybe they would want him to be getting. I think Maddie just like had a couple uncharacteristic kind of drops and stuff. Last week I thought she played super well against Iris and was huge in their win against whatever team that is, cool team. And yeah, I don't think that this week necessarily she was like getting D'd a bunch, but just had a couple drops and a couple like sort of tough, weird angled throws that they weren't quite able to get to her that limited her impact in that game. But AARP is really fucking good, and I would be surprised, in the regular season, when people are missing some games and all that, maybe they'll have a close game or even lose if a team gets really hot. But I don't see them at this point not winning the title this year, as much as it pains me to say it.
Yeah, it's painful. Paul the captain spent 15 hours a week on their league from October through March.
Which teams are undefeated currently? AARP, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and is that
I think
it?
that's it.
Okay.
And then Mixtape and Jamon Picante are 0-2.
Every other team is 1-1. Cool. Before we get into this week's game, we have a special shout out. Shout out to Tokar.
Hell yeah, Tokar Peter Tokar.
Tokar Peter Tokar. Apparently you've been running the scoreboard after Rec League is over, so for the final games. And according to my sources, you are one of two people who knows how the clock rules at the end of the games work. So shouts to Tokar.
Yeah, I fuck that up all the time. I'm pretty sure I yelled at Tokar in week 1, or whoever it was, maybe it wasn't even Tokar, that the clock was supposed to stop even though we were down by 2. I feel like that's a pretty commonly messed up thing where it gets down below 1 minute and team is down by 2 and they're like, stop the clock, but it only stops if it's within 1. But everybody always forgets it, but not Tokar.
Not Tokar.
Tokar remembers. And this week we have another sponsor. The Lookoff is presented by CrossFit CLE. This is Josh Lavelle's CrossFit gym. These are the details I have on it. So it's located downtown. For those of you who don't know, Josh played Ultimate. Where did Josh go to school? Where did he play? How did he play Ultimate?
Where did he play? I don't know. Actually, he's from Lakewood. Played boy. Played in Cleveland for.
He picked up this past week
for years.
For I forget which team.
Lynch's
team. He marked up against Andy. So is Andy on
Lynch's
your team?
Yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah, great dude. Good gym. I've only heard good things. I know a few of the Smokestack guys have been lifting with him this winter. So if you're looking to get into that sort of thing or have any questions, reach out to Josh, CrossFit CLE.
He did give us a coupon code. I don't know exactly what kind of discount it offers, but if you walk in and you say, "Hey, I play Ultimate with Josh Lavelle," again, that's "Hey, I play Ultimate with Josh Lavelle." That's the coupon code. Yeah.
It needs to be exact. Otherwise, it won't count.
Yeah, and actually Crump just started working there as well. So
Oh, really?
there's another
Got a couple ins.
yeah, got a couple ins. But again, Crump is not there's no discount code for Crump. It's just, hey, I play Ultimate with Josh Lavelle.
You
So,
actually have to pay more if you say that you play Ultimate with Trump.
yeah, thanks to CrossFit CLE for the sponsorship. Always excited to
Yeah,
have new
and
sponsors on the show.
thanks to that, this episode is coming to you free. All right, this week we have. Let me make sure we're looking at the right side. Game 1 is Pull It, Pass It, Green Bean It at AARP. Do we think they're going to have enough to overcome that home court advantage? Libby?
No.
Joe?
Who has home court advantage? AARP has home court
AARP. It's at AARP.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah, AARP is going to win. Although I think they are missing
They'll be missing
Mark Fertile
Mikey.
and Mike.
Yeah.
Case guys are missing this week.
Yeah.
So Mark has definitely been playing super well for them. That's another guy that I forgot to mention.
Does Lynch have any case guys?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think he would. I don't think he'd take them on
Yeah.
principle.
But yeah, that being said, I think it's still AARP favored.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Should be a fun game. I would agree with you both that I would take AARP. Game 2 is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood at State.
Libby, who you got?
Well, gotta pick my team. It is. I think we're gonna be missing both Chelsey and Bees. And Dunbar as well. So those are some pretty big losses. I think we might get Sadie for Chelsey and potentially Kevin Weiner.
Oh,
Whoa.
Kevin
Fingers
Weiner
crossed.
coming out of retirement.
Fingers crossed.
Coming
I
out of
haven't actually
retirement.
asked him yet, but
Well, I heard I've heard through the grapevine that he's actually going to be making his return to club this year. So this will be
That's what I heard as well.
This will be a good
this
first
is a
step.
warm up.
Yeah.
Do you think he listens to this? Not a chance. Anyway, Kevin Weiner Photography. Hit them up too. Abby will be missing Longo, Andrew Thompson, and Daniel Estrin. So
Yeah.
both teams. Falcor
Yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with.
So I was like,
Case
Daniel
Weiner
had a
doesn't
great
not
game
anymore.
this past week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's gonna be a great game. I'm excited for it. We're gonna win, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pick State as well.
Yes.
Just
Joe.
I think Andrew has been doing a lot for Mr. Rogers in the backfield, playing super well and playing good defense as well. Longo has also been doing a lot for their offense, and I think with those two, and like you said, Daniel had a super good game last week. He got a layout D on me in week 1, so definitely that's 3 pretty big absences. Obviously, pickups play a pretty big role, but I think I'm gonna go with State for this week.
As a State grad, I'm gonna have to go with State. It's in my blood. I bleed scarlet and gray. Go State.
Game 3 is my game against Potts or Black Plague, which that name is. Week 1, I walked in as Potts' team was like bringing it in, and I overheard him say, "Yeah, I know the name is kind of dark, but." That was all I ever heard,
He wasn't wrong.
yeah, so obviously we know who I'm gonna pick. So
Who would that be, Joe? I just for the record.
my team. I always pick my team.
I think I am gonna take the odds and also pick Joe's team. I think that
Wow.
I'm gonna predict that after last week's beatdown, Potts' team is gonna be kind of all over the place. A little bit of fallout. I think now's the time to attack.
I'm gonna go with Potts' team on this one, just so that I'm not agreeing with you both.
Smart money.
They'll have Sparky back.
God, I hate playing against.
Oh, I forgot they had Spurs.
Yeah. I don't know what else. It doesn't look like either of these teams are missing people. Although Sparky and Amy back. I don't know who else was missing. I don't.
We're missing Kunal
Oh, you're missing
and
Kunal.
Christy, unrelated to Case being gone, but I think she said she was going to be missing.
Christy.
Zihan is.
Oberlin.
Oh.
Her name is Zihan on the roster, but she goes by Christy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That should be a fun game. That'll be an interesting one. That I won't be watching because I will be playing in the final game. Felipe versus who was left? Abby's cool team.
Yes, cool team.
Cool team. Cool team missing. Kennelly is still in school, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So Kennelly, is Ellis gonna be gone?
Honestly, don't know.
Who's to say?
I think so.
So they'll be missing Kennelly. I don't think we have any Case kids on our team. Oh, is Milo?
Yeah, Milo
coaching?
will be gone.
So Milo will be gone. But yeah, I think we're gonna really hit the ground running with the stuff we learned in the second half. Momentum is on our side, apparently. And
Brad, you learned a lot. What all did you learn in the second half?
Of last week, pass the ball to Mitch.
That's a pretty good strategy.
Yeah.
I learned that one.
That was, yeah.
I feel like you learned that one this past summer more so than.
No. This past summer, I learned watch Mitch be. This winter league, I'll actually have to pass to him. Maybe we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, don't get used to it, Mitch. He's not gonna listen to this.
Libby, who you got in this game?
I think I'm gonna go with the cool team.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Brad. I'm taking Brad on this one.
Solidarity.
Brad's team.
That's. Let's not refer to it as my team.
I'm pretty sure.
We're on the record.
1.
Yeah, I think Griffin being back is going to be a huge boost to limiting the turnovers, as he's generally a pretty conservative, consistent cutter. And then Kennelly missing for Abby's cool team, I think, is a big hit. He's one of the sort of more aggressive shooters, especially to Iris. And so, yeah, I think again, whoever they pick up might make a big difference there, but he played pretty well against us this past week, and missing him is going to be pretty big. So my money's on Brad's team.
One of the highlights this past week from being at High Tide, at one point somebody threw some sort of swill to Griff. He laid out, caught it, immediately picked it up, and threw a break just into the end zone, hit someone perfectly in stride, and the entire time had his Griff face on. And
Griff face or gruff face?
At this point, it was the Griff face. Okay. And someone on the other team said something along the lines of, "I've never seen someone look so casual and angry and be so great at the same time." So yeah,
there you go. That's Griffin.
Insights from the D bracket.
I feel like that was an insult. I feel like you were taking shots at us for winning High Tide.
Not at all.
And so it sounds like Libby. So it sounds like from here. Well, I hate to end it on that note, but I really got nothing else. Things coming up. Joe, when is the next Pride tryout?
Yes. So the Columbus Pride tryout that's being held in Cleveland in North Royalton Fieldhouse is Sunday, February 2nd in the morning. It's the tryout itself is from 9:30 to noon, with registration starting at 9. So definitely any women, transgender, non-binary players in the Cleveland area, or we got people coming in from Columbus and Pittsburgh as well. Come out to the tryout. It should be a lot of fun. Chance to try out and potentially play for the sort of local PUL team that I'm coaching.
For Joe. You get
to play for me. Well, I was trying not to mention that just because I wanted people to go, but yeah, I'm super excited. We had our first tryout in Columbus. It went super well, and this is our second and last tryout. So definitely come on out to that. There's already a bunch of Cleveland players signed up. we also, this is sort of breaking news on the Lookoff, but
Breaking news.
Whoa.
Oh, your
Putting
source.
Putting a sound effect on.
well, the thing is, by the time I actually upload this, it probably won't be anymore. But we have a post tryout event at the Brew Kettle in Strongsville, which is not too far from where the actual tryout is, but it's open to anybody. So if you want to come hang out afterwards, I think we have like a room reserved from 12:30 to 2:30 or something like that. It's we're going to be selling drink tickets that will support the team, but you can also just like come hang out. They have food. It'll be a good like Super Bowl pregame if you're into that. So come hang out. Like I said, that's open to anybody, even if you weren't trying out.
The code at the door is, "Hey, I play Ultimate with Joshua Bell." There's no code at the door. Just go show up, drink some beers with your friends. It'll be fun.
It's gonna be great.
I
think the night before as well, in the women's ultimate vein, the CDA is hosting Hardcore, which is a women's clinic. It's going to be at CSU. I think it's at 6 p.m. on that Saturday, February 1st. I don't have a lot of information, but if you go to clevelandultimate.com, there might be something there.
Is that really the website, clevelandultimate.com, or did you just make that up?
No, that's really
Okay. I believe you.
Or cleveland-disc.org.
I hear the website has a brand new calendar.
Yeah, check out that Google Calendar.
There's a Google Calendar that you can sync to your own. So go check that out. And one of the things you'll see on that calendar is Groundhog's Day, the alleged longest running indoor tournament in Ultimate.
We'll go with that.
Libby's definitely not making a face right now.
We'll go with that.
I don't know when that is. I think the weekend after, the 7th of February.
February 7th,
Friday
yeah.
the 7th.
We have a week off of Winter League that week.
So sign up for Groundhogs, bring your friends, be prepared to not sleep all night. It's a great time. It's a lot of fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
So
at the very least, it's worth it.
It can be. Is Ultimate ever a lot of fun, Joe?
Not Winter League.
That's a good note to end it on.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts, closing words? Anybody else want to sign this one off?
Reminder: if you've got any questions, comments, concerns, things you want us to talk about. Well, I should say, if you have any questions or things you want us to talk about, you can hit us up on Twitter, _Lookoff, or email. I think it's the lookoffpodcast@gmail.com. Again, I don't really remember. Probably listen to one of our previous episodes if you want to be sure. If you have complaints, please address those to not us. Anybody.
Crump.
Yeah.
Crump.
Send everything to Crump.
Yeah. If you got complaints, talk to Crump. He's our welcome to the team, Crump. He's big part of making the Lookoff happen. So all complaints go to him. We're talking about doing a new segment about some of the new rule changes that have been happening. If you have any ideas on other rule changes that Irish should have done or should do for next year, no matter how ridiculous they are, hit us up on Twitter or email or at League or whatever, and we'll bring those up in next week's episode.
I have an idea. Let's try and do a mailbag episode. The week, since we have Groundhogs coming up in a couple weeks,
that's a good idea.
we don't really have content. So if you have ideas,
We never have content.
If you listen this long, you probably have some stupid questions that you could ask us to fill a few minutes of time. Send those to us, and maybe you'll hear them on a future episode of the Lookoff.
All right.
Your claim to fame.
With that in mind, I'm just gonna real quick look up the. It's the lookoffpodcast@gmail.com. I had it right. So again, you can send emails there, and we'll try to make that mailbag episode happen. It's a good idea, Brad.
I get them every once in a while. So that's the episode. Looking you off for another week. Glad to be back in Cleveland and not in sunny Los Angeles. There's no place I'd rather be.
See you next week.
See ya.